In today's lesson, we will explore how to use conditional sentences in Bangla. Like saying, if this happens, then that will happen. Let's learn through a fun dialogue between Rima and Shayan. Rima says, যদি সবাই রাজি থাকে তবে আমরা আগামী শনিবার একটা প্রাক্তন শিক্ষার্থীদের পুনর্মিলনী করতে পারি. Translates to, Rima says, if everyone agrees that we can organize an alumni reunion next Saturday. Shayan replies, হ্যাঁ দারুণ হবে, আমরা প্রাঙ্গণে আয়োজন করতে পারবো. Shayan replies, yes, that would be great. We can organize it in the courtyard. In this part of the conversation, Rima introduces conditional sentence, which is a common way to express possible events depending on a certain condition. She says, যদি সবাই রাজি থাকে তবে আমরা আগামী শনিবার একটা প্রাক্তন শিক্ষার্থীদের পুনর্মিলনী করতে পারি. Meaning, if everyone agrees, then we can organize an alumni reunion next Saturday. This sentence uses if-then structure, which is a typical form of the conditionals in Bangla. Jodi, which means if, introduces the condition clause, and tobe means then signals the result clause. Here, shobai means everyone and raji thake means agrees or it's willing, and amra korte pari means we can do or we can organize. The word punarmiloni means reunion. Shayan responds with হ্যাঁ দারুণ হবে, meaning yes, that would be great, where হবে is the future tense of the verb to be. He adds, আমরা প্রাঙ্গণে আয়োজন করতে পারবো. We can organize it in the courtyard. Here, prangone means in the courtyard, and ayojon korte parbo is a future conditional phrase with parbo means will be able to, expressing the future possibility or capability. In Bangla, conditional constructions often use jodi adds with present or subjunctive verb form followed by tobe or tahole plus result clause. Often in the future tense or with modal verbs like pari or hobe. These structures help convey planning, possibilities or consequences just like in English. Let's continue observing the conversation. Rima says, যদি বৃষ্টি হয় তাহলে কি আমরা প্রাঙ্গণে করতে পারবো না? Rima says, if it rains then we won't be able to have it in the courtyard, right? Shayan replies, যদি কলেজের হলটা পাওয়া যায় তাহলে জায়গার কোনো সমস্যা হবে না. Shayan replies, if we get the college hall then there won't be any issues with space. In this part of the conversation, Rima again uses conditional construction to express a potential situation and its outcome. She says, যদি বৃষ্টি হয় তাহলে কি আমরা প্রাঙ্গণে করতে পারবো না? Meaning, if it rains then we won't be able to have it in the courtyard, right? Here, the sentence structured as jodi plus present tense verb followed by tahole, introducing the possible outcome. Brishti hoy means it rains, and korte parbo na means we won't be able to have. This construction indicates a future possibility with negative outcome, which means not being able to do something if the condition, which is rain, is met. Shayan responds with, যদি কলেজের হলটা পাওয়া যায় তাহলে জায়গার কোনো সমস্যা হবে না. Meaning, if we can get the college hall, then there won't be any issue with the space. In this case, Shayan uses similar conditional construction, such as jodi plus present tense verb followed by tahole. Collegeer hallta means the college hall, and pawa jay means can't be obtained. The phrase জায়গার কোনো সমস্যা হবে না translates to there won't be any issue with space, where হবে না is the negative form of হবে, means will be. This expresses a future condition where the possibility of a problem, which is space, is eliminated if the hall is available. Both sentences reflect typical conditional constructions in Bangla, where the first part introduced by jodi presents the condition that influences the outcome or the result expressed in the second part, which is after tahole. These sentences are in the present tense for the condition but convey the future possibilities through modal verbs like pari means can or hobe na means won't be. The structure helps to express various hypothetical scenarios and their results just like conditional sentences in English. Let's continue observing the conversation. Rima says, "Acha, সঙ্গে সবাই কি কাউকে আনতে পারে?" Rima says, "Okay, can everyone bring someone along?" Shayan replies, "হ্যাঁ অবশ্যই, তুমিও যদি চাও তোমার ভাইকে আনতে পারো." Shayan says, "Yes, of course, you can bring your brother too if you want." Rima replies, "ঠিক আছে, যদি তুমি তোমার ভাইকে নিয়ে আসো তাহলে আমিও আমার ভাইকে নিয়ে আসবো." Rima says, "All right, if you bring your brother, then I'll bring mine too." In this section of the conversation, Rima asks, "আচ্ছা, সঙ্গে সবাই কি কাউকে আনতে পারে?" which translates to, "Okay, can everyone bring someone along?" Here, acha is an interjection used to start, soften the tone of a question. Shonge means together with or with someone. Shobai refers to all the people involved, means everyone. And ki is used to form yes-no question. Kauke refers to a person, means someone. And ante pare means can bring is the verb construction where ante means to bring and pare means can. This sentence is a yes-no question asking whether everyone is allowed to bring someone else. The verb ante pare is in the present tense, indicating the possibility of bringing someone along. The use of ki turns the statement into a question. Shayan responds, "হ্যাঁ অবশ্যই, তুমি যদি চাও তোমার ভাইকে আনতে পারো," which means yes, of course, you can bring your brother too if you want. In this sentence, হ্যাঁ is an affirmative response and অবশ্যই strongly affirms Shayan's agreement. Tumio means you too adds the emphasis, with tumi meaning you and o means too. Jodi means if introduces the conditional clause, and chao, which means want, is the verb of chawa, means to want, in the present tense. Tomar is the possessive form of you, means your, and bhaike means brother, refers to the male sibling. Ante paro is the verb construction where ante means to bring and paro means can. This response confirms that it is possible to bring someone, including Rima's brother, if she wants. The construction jodi chao means if you want expresses a conditional construction, indicating that Rima's action is contingent on her willingness. Rima then replies, "ঠিক আছে, যদি তুমি তোমার ভাইকে নিয়ে আসো তাহলে আমি আমার ভাইকে নিয়ে আসবো," which translates to, "All right, if you bring your brother, then I'll bring mine too." In this replies, ঠিক আছে means all right is used to acknowledge and agree with the previous statement. Jodi introduces the conditional clause and tumi refers to the second person singular subject. Tomar is the possessive form of you and bhaike is in the accusative form. Niye asho is the present tense form of the verb niye asha, means to bring. Tahole means then is a conjunction linking the condition with the result. And amio means I too emphasizes Rima's agreement. Amar is the possessive form of I, which means my. And bhaike is in the accusative form. Niye ashbo is the future tense form of the verb niye asha, indicating Rima's action will happen in the future if the condition is fulfilled, which is Shayan bringing his brother. This exchange showcases a first conditional structure where the action is in the future, which is Rima's bringing her brother, depends on the action in the present, which is Shayan bringing his brother. The pattern is jodi adds with present tense verb, then adds with tahole, then adds with future tense verb. That means if, then the condition, then result. Let's continue observing the conversation. Rima says, তবে তাড়াতাড়ি সম্পূর্ণ পরিকল্পনা করতে হবে, নইলে অসুবিধা হবে. Rima says, then we need to complete the planning quickly, otherwise there will be problems. Shayan replies, হ্যাঁ ঠিক, সবাই যখনই আসবে তখনই শুরু করে দেব, Shayan replies, yes, right. We'll start as soon as everyone arrives. In this part of the conversation, Rima says, তবে তাড়াতাড়ি পরিকল্পনা করতে হবে, নইলে অসুবিধা হবে, which translates to, then we need to complete planning quickly, otherwise there will be problems. The word tobe means then indicates a shift to the condition, emphasizing the importance of completing the planning quickly, which means taratari, to avoid facing problems, which is অসুবিধে. The phrase noile means otherwise connects the condition to the result, showing that if the planning is not completed on time, problems will arise. The verb hobe means will be in future tense expresses the inevitable result of the condition not being fulfilled. This is an example of a first conditional construction where a real and possible future condition, which is completing the planning, is linked to a real future result, means facing the problems using the future tense. Shayan responds with, হ্যাঁ ঠিক, সবাই যখনই আসবে তখনই শুরু করে দেব, which translates as, yes, all right, we'll start as soon as everyone arrives. Here the word যখনই means as soon as establishes a time-based conditional, meaning that the action of starting only take place when condition of everyone arriving is met. The future tense verb ashbe means will arrive in the condition clause, and kore debo means will start in the result clause. Show the action of starting is directly dependent on the future event of everyone's arrival. This sentence also reflects a first conditional, where a future action depends on the fulfillment of a specified condition, and both clauses use the future tense to express the relationship. Both Rima's and Shayan's sentences demonstrate first conditional construction. In Rima's case, the structure is jodi tahole means condition result. If condition, then result is used, with the condition linked to the need for a quick planning to avoid problems. Shayan's sentence is a more straightforward time-based conditional where the event of starting depends on the condition of everyone's arrival. The use of jokhoni means as soon as emphasizes that the start of the event is tied to a specific future action. Both sentences reflects how conditional structures in Bangla use future tense verbs to describe potential outcomes based on the conditions being met. Let's continue observing the conversation. Rima says, কিন্তু যতক্ষণ না আমন্ত্রণপত্র বানিয়ে ফেলছি ততক্ষণ কাজ এগোনো যাচ্ছে না. Rima says, but we can't move forward with the work until we have made the invitation card. Shayan replies, yes, let's go ahead and write it. In this part of the conversation, Rima begins by saying, কিন্তু যতক্ষণ না আমন্ত্রণপত্র বানিয়ে ফেলছি ততক্ষণ এগোনো যাচ্ছে না, which translates to, but we can't move forward with the work until we have made the invitation card. In this sentence, kintu is a conjunction used to introduce a contrast. যতক্ষণ না means until is a temporal conjunction indicating the condition for the action to occur. Amantranpatra means invitation card refers to the physical card for the event, where baniye means making and felechi is the continuous tense form of the verb fela, which in this case adds the sense of completion to the action. Totokhun means until then is a temporal adverb indicating a time frame, and কাজ এগোনো যাচ্ছে না means work is not progressing, means that the work cannot continue. কাজ means work, refers to the task at the hand, and egono means to move forward is the verb, while যাচ্ছে না means is not progressing, indicates that the action is currently not happening. This is a temporal conditional construction where one action depends on the completion of the other. The structure যতক্ষণ না plus present continuous plus ততক্ষণ plus future tense verb expresses that the specific task must be completed before the next can begin. Shayan replies, হ্যাঁ চল লিখে ফেলি, which translates to, yes, let's go ahead and write it. হ্যাঁ means yes is an affirmative response. চল means let's go is an imperative verb used to suggest doing something together, indicating an invitation to act. লিখে ফেলি means let's write is a verb construction where লিখে means write is the verb and feli is the first person plural form of the verb fela, which here implies the action of completing the task. This expression is a suggestion to move forward with a task. The key conditional construction here involves the until clause using jotokhon na to express the condition that the work cannot progress until the invitation card is ready. This is a temporal conditional construction where the completion of one task, making the invitation card here, is necessary for the next task, which is moving forward with the work to happen. Let's continue observing the conversation. Rima says, আচ্ছা যদি কেউ আসতে না পারে তাহলে তারা যেন অন্তত অনলাইনে যোগ দেয়. Rima says, and if someone can't come, they should at least join online. Shayan replies, কে কে আসবে আগাম জানতে পারলে আমার খাবারের অর্ডার দিতে সুবিধা হবে. Shayan replies, if I know in advance who is coming, it will be easier to order food for me. In the conversation, Rima says, আচ্ছা যদি কেউ আসতে না পারে তাহলে তারা যেন অন্তত অনলাইনে যোগ দেয়, which translates to, and if someone can't come, they should at least join online. The word acha means okay or and, acts as a discourse marker, linking the conversation. Jodi introduces the conditional clause, expressing the hypothetical situation of someone not being able to attend. The phrase keu aste na pare means if someone can't come, uses ashte means to come in its infinitive form, followed by na pare means cannot, with pare being the third person singular form of para meaning to be able. This conditional construction sets up a scenario where the outcome means joining online is dependent on the action means whether they can come or not. Tahole means then links to the condition to the consequences. Tara refers to those who are unable to attend in person, and jano is used to express an expected or advisable action. The verb jogday means join is in the present tense and online is the platform for joining. The sentence structure follows the first conditional pattern expressing the probable or real future situation where the result depends on the condition being met. Shayan responds, কে কে আসবে আগাম জানতে পারলে আমার খাবারের অর্ডার দিতে সুবিধা হবে, which means if I know in advance who is coming, it will be easier to order food. In this sentence, ke ke means who all, refers to the multiple people who may attend. The verb ashbe means will come is in the future tense, showing the action of coming. Agam means in advance, indicates that knowing who will attend must happen before the event. Jante parle means if I can know, uses the conditional form parle of the verb para means to be able to, expressing the possibility of knowing in advance. The phrase খাবারের অর্ডার দিতে সুবিধা হবে means it will be easier to order food, indicates the benefit or ease that would come from knowing who will attend. খাবারের order means food order is a noun phrase, and সুবিধা হবে means it will be easier is a future tense construction indicating the outcome of knowing in advance. This part of the conversation showcases two first conditional constructions. The first one, used by Rima, follows the structure jodi plus negative verb plus tahole plus conditional verb, where the condition means if someone cannot come determines the result means they should join online. The second one, used by Shayan, follows the sentence structure jodi plus verb in conditional plus future verb, where knowing in advance who will come enables an easier task for ordering food. Both conditional constructions highlight how the fulfillment of a condition leads to a specific result in future. Now we'll look at the basic construction. First, basic. Jodi tobe tahole construction. The structure is jodi plus subordinate clause then tobe or tahole, then plus main clause. Used to show a cause-effect relationship. We'll look at some examples. First example, jodi brishti hoy tobe amra jabo na, means if it rains then we won't go. Next example, jodi she chaye tahole ami sahajjo korbo, if he wants then I will help. Often tobe or tahole is omitted when the consequence is clear. For example, jodi tumi chao ami tomar songe jabo, means if you want I will go with you. Another example of this is jodi deri koro bus miss korbe, if you are late you will miss the bus. Second type of construction, negative conditional, used with negative verb to show consequences of not doing something. Look at some examples. Jodi tumi na poro porikhay fail korbe, if you don't study you will fail the exam. Next question, jodi she na ashe party mati, means if he doesn't come the party is cancelled. Third type of construction, unless or until type. Jotokhon na, the structure is jotokhon na plus the clause, equivalent to until or unless in English. For example, jotokhon na kaj shesh hoy ami jabo na, until the work is done I won't leave. Next, যতক্ষণ না তুমি ক্ষমা চাও আমি কথা বলবো না, unless you apologize I won't talk. Fourth construction, only if, means তখনই যখন. Structure is তখনই plus main clause plus যখন plus condition. Here this structure used to stress that something will happen only when the condition is met. We'll look at some examples. আমি তখনই যাব যখন তুমি আসবে, I'll go only when you come. We'll look at another example. আমরা তখনই শুরু করব যখন সবাই আসবে, we'll start only when everyone arrives. Another construction, otherwise, means না হলে or নইলে. The structure follows clause, then না হলে or নইলে plus the consequence, used to indicate consequences of not doing something. We'll look at two examples. First is তাড়াতাড়ি করো না হলে ট্রেন মিস করবে, hurry up otherwise you will miss the train. Next is পড়াশোনা করো নইলে পরীক্ষায় ফেল করবে, study otherwise you will fail in the exam. Next construction we'll see is as if or as though, means যেন. We'll look at the যেন structure. It follows যেন plus clause, used to show hypothetical or imagined situation. We'll look at two examples. সে এমন আচরণ করলো যেন কিছুই হয়নি, means he behaved as if nothing had happened. We'll look at another example. তুমি এমন বলছো যেন আমি কিছু জানি না, you're speaking as though I know nothing. Next construction, wishful or hypothetical past, which is expressing regret or imagination. Sometimes it is combined with jodi, hoto or partam. We'll look at some examples. Jodi ami daktar hotam, if only I were a doctor. Jodi tumi aste, means if only you had come. Ami jodi গান গাইতে পারতাম, if only I could sing. That brings us to the end of this lesson. We will see you in the next class. Happy learning. Dhanyabad.